This is for the love in you. This is for the love in you.
Peace and light. This is your self-love advocate, Pierre, and this is another show of the Love Right Now show. And I'm joined by my soror, Dr. Marquetta Giles with Spinal Perceptions. And I'm so excited about the conversation that we're going to have. Continuing the series, Healing the Black Woman, as we talk about the state of Black women's health. But as I do with every show, I like to recognize a person or group of people who are self-love slaying in these streets, and that is you!
Yes, thank you!
Self-love slaying! Welcome, sis. How are you?
I am doing very well. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yay! So let's jump right in. Tell me about Spinal Perceptions, that is in the historic 3rd Ward in Houston, Texas. Tell us about your services and what you do and how you got into this practice.
Absolutely. I am a family wellness chiropractor, and my office serves infants all the way to seniors. So my youngest patients are a couple of hours old, all the way to my oldest are 94 and 95 years of age. And what we provide is holistic health care by looking at your spine and seeing if your nervous system is the culprit of why your body is not functioning at its highest level. So I'm able to use my hands to heal, basically in a nutshell.
I love it. And so, did you grow up knowing about this type of service?
Absolutely not. Okay. The thing I wanted to be a doctor. That was it. I didn't know what kind. I wanted to work with children.
Okay.
And I had a very supportive family and parents who were like, look, if you want to do this, you need to get some experience and exposure. So starting in high school, I was in those rotational programs and realized hospital just wasn't for me. Undergrad had great opportunities to study research at Baylor and shadowed other doctors, and I was like, this just isn't for me. This isn't the right fit. And finally, my optometrist, I was shadowing her. She said, hey, go shadow this chiropractor. I was like, chiropractor? What is a chiropractor? And I went down the hall in her office building, and I went in there, and I was just amazed. I saw people who were able to walk again, people who were trying to get pregnant and things changed, children who were healed from different elements, and all he did was use his hands to move the bone and relieve pressure off their spine. I said, that's the model of healthcare I want, a wellness model. So that's where I am, and here I am now.
That is amazing.
I know, I
love it. Now, do you see, what's your demographics of your patients?
My demographic is primarily the professional women, primarily Black and Hispanic, and then those who are working class.
Okay.
So I see that's pretty much who my patient base is.
Okay, awesome. And who was the first person that taught you how to take care of yourself as a woman?
Absolutely, my mother.
Okay.
Started from a young age, you know, everyone else had to wear those slips and
Girl.
tights, socks with the ruffles, had to get our hair done every 2 weeks. It was a staple. We were in the hair salon every 2 weeks. Not missing at all. But even going into adulthood, she just taught me how to keep myself up. You know, you have to make sure you take care of yourself. You don't do anything else. Put some decent clothes on, so at least if you look good, you'll feel good. So
Sounds
she
just
was
like
the
mom.
one. Yeah.
Yes, the ruffled socks, the slips.
Yes.
Where's your slip?
Exactly.
You know, totally.
Yes.
You brought me back. So, what are some things that you wish you would have been taught that maybe you weren't taught as you were growing into womanhood?
I think it would be to embrace my womanhood. It was almost like, you know, once you hit college age, that was it. We were done raising you. We will support you. It was like we were done raising you. And then there were things that I had to go through as a young woman that you kind of feel like you're on your own. So I would have preferred at least someone told me to embrace my womanhood. I think I would have taken more risk. I would have worn the dress, I would have did more had I been like known that it was safe to do so. I almost felt like, you know, if you did that, you were growing up too fast or you would be displeasing. But, you know, now I'm embracing it. Just wish I would have did it or would have been taught it's okay to embrace it, you know, in my 20s.
You are embracing it with this yellow dress on,
Oh,
baby.
yes, thank you.
Like all kinds of ocean energy up in here.
That's part of embracing it. Taking a risk.
I love that.
Would have had on something black probably and, you know, really solitude into myself. Like, you know what? Let's let it all hang out.
You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
You know, I really connected to what you said about embracing the womanhood and feeling like as you moved into adolescence that you were kind of on your own, because I had similar experiences. It's almost as if, you know, our moms did what they knew,
Right.
you know what I mean? And especially if you were, you know, pretty independent, you know what I mean? They were like, she's gonna be all right.
She's gonna be
She's
fine.
good. And even though at times we may have been falling apart,
Yes.
you know, but I did know that I could go to my mom,
Right.
you know, even if I didn't talk about that specific thing, just go and be in her presence,
Yes.
you know, did a lot. But sometimes that's not an option for some of us. Some of us, when I'm speaking about Black women, there's just a spectrum of Black women and where we are and how we grew up, and even though we're all we come like from the same culture, if you will, there were some differences there, and some of us, we're vulnerable anyway, but we're more vulnerable when we don't have that strong foundation, and I've been talking a lot about that. So how would you encourage a young 19, 20-year-old that is on their own? And what would you advise them to do to get the support that they need?
You have to find a tribe of women who have walked the path you have walked, or at least who have walked the path that you would want to achieve. I guess, let's say that, walk the path you would want to achieve.
I like that.
Because it's very easy to be around your peers and do what they are doing, but you want to walk the path of someone who has achieved a goal that you want to achieve. Maybe it may be owning a business. Maybe it may be just loving on you really good. And you'll know, because those women are all around you. They're in the community. They're at places like the Women's Earth here. They may be at the place that you worship. It may be a mentor at your school, at your job. Maybe you're going back to maybe elementary or high school teacher. So you have to find a tribe of women and build that support system so that you can feel comfortable and confident to go to them in peace.
I love that. Building a tribe of women. Wow, that have been where you're trying to be. So you're generally, you know, when we talk about our tribe, we're talking about our peers, you know, and we still want our peers to be supportive of us, but you're talking about like a mentorship tribe of women. And I know there's a huge gap there.
Absolutely.
But, you know, how do you find a good mentor? Like, how do you build this mentorship tribe of women?
I think we have a good benefit right now because we have social media.
True.
So if there is someone, even in your community, who you can find on social media, send in a DM to, you know, and most supportive women and successful women are not going to mind being that mentor for you. They won't mind. They're not going to see you as a threat, because some will see you that way. But the real supportive ones, they won't mind at all. So utilize social media if you don't have a go-to person that you can tangibly touch right now.
So let it go down in the DM to your benefit.
Yes.
Reaching out to build a tribe of women who are going to support you, cheer you on, and are equipped.
Yes.
To aid and support you in your winning at your purpose. All right, I love this, sis. So I am meeting with Dr. Marquetta Giles. We're going to take a short snippet and we will be back. You are viewing or listening to the Love Right Now show. This is your self-love advocate, Pierre Raven, and you are listening or viewing the Love Right Now show. I'm joined by Dr. Marquetta, Giles, and we have been talking about the state of Black women's health. And girl, we could have been sisters. Very similar backgrounds. But I have to ask you, because as you know, as Serena Williams and Beyonce Knowles Carter and a few other women that have come forward with their different stories about their care, and this was specifically related to childbirth, but we see this in all healthcare settings, that at times women feel like that they're more vulnerable, or they've experienced some really scary situations, life-threatening situations. But the overarching tone that I keep hearing is they feel like they're not being heard, you know, or that their explanations of their symptoms are not being looked at or considered seriously. And so I wanted to ask you, have you ever experienced at any point in time, for any reason, that you didn't feel like you were being heard in the healthcare space?
Yes, I did. There's actually two instances. The first one was in 2014. I was at church and just collapsed.
Wow.
Had no previous symptoms, nothing to warn me that this was coming on. Just collapsed. You know, was rushed to the emergency room, was in a complete state of dizziness. Whole room just spinning. And the only thing the doctor could tell me was, oh, she just has vertigo. We're going to send her home. And being a healthcare provider, all these years of studying, I knew vertigo for me, what I was experiencing was a symptom of something else serious. This wasn't just regular vertigo. So of course they gave me the medicine. I was like, something is going on. This isn't just regular vertigo. We're just gonna, do this test and it'll go away. It's not going away. With the medicine you're giving me, it should have eased up by now. So they ran some more tests, couldn't find anything, and they were going to send me home.
Wow.
I stayed in the hospital overnight, and I called my mom and was just boo-hooing on the phone. I said, Mom, they're going to send me home. And I just laid in the hospital. I couldn't open my eyes. I could only just lay there and close my eyes, so I couldn't eat. They asked questions. I had to make sure my eyes was closed because the dizziness was just so bad. So, Mama, I cannot go home like this. Something else is going to happen if I go home. And it was like something out of a movie. She came in there, had a wheelchair. I'm laughing about it now. Yes. She said, no, we're not doing this. We're not sending. If you can't figure out what's going on with my daughter, I will take her elsewhere. They were going to release me, and she came in there. She said she started hooking IVs. I'm so sorry. It's supposed to be serious, but she was hooking IVs. She said, not my daughter. Not my daughter. She got that wheelchair from the ER, pushed it up there, and we left that hospital. And she transported me to the medical center, St. Joseph. She had a really good family friend who was a medical doctor. And we bypassed all of the paperwork with the emergency room. And within a few hours, we had all these specialists running in there trying to figure out what was going on. CT scans, MRIs, blood work. And there was a doctor, Dr. Harris. He didn't even have all his tools. All he used was a straw. A straw that was on the tray in my room, and he used a straw, of all things, to diagnose what was going on. I had a very serious viral infection. And
how did he use the straw?
I don't know, but I know I got the help that I needed to get. And I was in the hospital for a week for them to continue to run tests. So they brought the top of the line doctors. But I thought about women who didn't have a mom like I had to be their advocate. Because I would have just went home and suffered. And the thing is, with that viral infection, there was no medication that, because it was a virus, it had to just wear off. So for 9 months, I was in a state of dizziness.
Oh my God.
Business shut down, everything shut down for that remainder of the year. And for me, that was, it was probably one of the most challenging aspects of my life. But to be in a situation where they were going to allow me to go home and not figure out what the problem was heartbreaking, because I knew something was wrong. I didn't know if it was the end or what was happening, but I knew something was going on and I needed to get help.
Wow. I'm happy that you do have a mama.
Yes.
that's gonna wheel you up out of there,
Girl.
yank those ideas out, and get you the help that you need.
It got me the help.
I'm very fortunate, and to your point, a very huge one. A lot of women don't have that choice, you know, and I feel like that's part of the reason why the mortality rates amongst Black women following childbirth and other medical care is extremely high. Wow. What would you recommend to a young woman that may not have mama to come wheel her out, but feels like she knows something else is wrong with her, but her doctor is dismissing it for one reason or another? What advice would you give her?
To keep pressing, she has to go above that doctor's head. Do whatever she has to do to go above that doctor's or nurse's head to get the help that she needs. If she has to contact a state board to get someone's attention, if she has to contact a hospital supervisor or anyone in that hospital who will listen to her, you have to advocate for yourself. Your life literally is dependent upon it. And I just want to empower her you have a choice.
Yes.
If you have to get up and leave and go somewhere else, you have a choice. Last year we had to do that for my mom. She was diagnosed with cancer, and her oncologist was just very male chauvinist. This is what it is, and this is what we're going to do. Take it or leave it. And it was like, we've never experienced anything like this. You know, what is the process for her treatment? What should we expect? What food should she eat? You know, what type of care should we give for her? And she sat there just distraught. And I got up from out of there. I said, not on my watch. I was like, Miss Iyanla Vincent, not on my watch. I said, she needs a new doctor.
Yes.
And we did not stop until she got a new oncologist. And they ended up letting that doctor go because they had too many complaints. So use your voice, sisters. Use your voice. Yeah. There may be other people who had experienced that at that hospital. And I just want to empower you that you have a choice to get up and leave and go to another facility. Don't take it lying down. Your life literally is dependent upon that.
Y'all hear that? Because, you know, sometimes we think that first opinion is all authority. And while we all want to, you know, on the first try to get somebody that's invested in our care, that doesn't always happen. And I love how you said use your voice. That is very important because many times we don't take those surveys or we don't, you know, engage in feedback, and that is so important so that we can get the best people in those very sensitive positions for our care. For our care. Thank you for that. That is awesome. So, Mama taught you how to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And then there was a gap, which many of us feel. We go out into the world and it's like we're all by ourselves.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I love how you talked about just wanting to embrace, you know, just embrace your womanhood. And so when we're going to dive a little bit deeper in embracing your womanhood and what that looks like today. Okay. All right, so we'll dive into that in just a minute. Self-love has been a journey for many of us, hopefully all of us. Today, you are embracing your womanhood. You are embracing your self-love. What is self-love to you?
Self-love for me right now is doing what I want to do and not caring.
Okay. Love it.
That's what it is. Because I guess the word I like to use is people bondage. I was so consumed with what are people going to think? What are they going to say? I guess I got fulfillment from the you did great, the congratulations. And it got to a point where I was just worn down with pleasing other people, accommodating them, accommodating their schedule. It even trickled down into my professional life. I was accommodating everyone else except for me, and I wasn't happy. So now it's what I want to do, and I do not care what anyone has to say.
I know that's right.
And I even have to watch what I say because I've always been kind of shy to myself, and now my sister's like, oh, that didn't come out too nice. I'm like, well, I meant what I said. Let me just change the way that it came out, the delivery of it. But I meant everything I said.
Yeah.
No.
So self-love basically helps you find your voice.
Yes.
Yes. That's
exactly.
awesome. That's awesome. So what does your self-care regimen look like? What are some of the things that you like to do for yourself?
Well, of course, I have a personal trainer because I found myself in a mental fog for like 2 months this summer and couldn't figure out why, and I had stopped working out. So that I have to work out, so I meet with him twice a week. And of course, dresses and everything are starting to fit correctly, so I'm happy about that.
That's good.
Massages have really been beneficial to me. Taking the time out in the morning, I was always pretty strict on having my day start at a certain time in the office, but now I give myself that leeway to come in and to get settled and not just go into the hustle and bustle, and be okay with, allowing my schedule to accommodate me instead of accommodating others. So
I love that. Yes. Giving yourself some grace, some leeway, easing into your day, and all of the other self-care regimen activities. I love that. So as we talk about the services that you provide, there tends to be this shy way, especially in our community, about those services.
okay.
Talk about that and how you combat that to have a demographics of mostly Black and Hispanic women.
I'm honest in letting people know that this is a model of healthcare that can benefit everyone, but it may not be the best fit for you because we're changing your body from a structural standpoint. Medication or allopathic medicine can change your body from a chemical standpoint. So sometimes you get relief or you get results instantly. But sometimes if the chemical component is changed, your body becomes dependent. So we're changing you from a structural standpoint and trying really hard to address the cause of what's going on. So if we are allowing your nervous system to function more freely and more optimally like it should, and then if there are some dietary changes that need to be made or some whole food nutritional supplements that need to be added, we're able to identify that and address it. Because for most people, the underlying cause of many health issues they have is inflammation. So if you're taking an anti-inflammatory, is the problem really being addressed? If it is, kudos to you. If not, let's figure out another way that we can address this issue and actually try to resolve it. We don't want to just manage it. We want to resolve it and then keep you on a state of maintaining that health and not just managing the disease. So I would tell women to just be open to another form, especially if what you're doing isn't working or that the problem is still there after several years.
And when you think about chiropractic services, one of the things, and I'm definitely a fan of, and one of the things that, some of my friends may say is, oh my God, but what if something happens to my back?
Oh my goodness.
I know you hear that.
Yes.
So can you ease their minds a little?
First of all, stop watching YouTube and the horror movies, okay? The horror movie is not what happens. And actually, I adjust newborns, so we use the pressure of your fingertip. It takes more pressure to press the button on the elevator than it does to adjust a baby. And most of babies sleep during their adjustments. That's just how safe, effective, and gentle it is. And most people associate chiropractic with a popping or cracking noise, and it has nothing to do with that. There's fluid in every joint in your spine, and in order for those joints to move, that fluid has to be there. So when you apply pressure to that joint, sometimes an audible noise is made. But if that noise scares you, because nothing is going to be broken, okay? I'm not going to hurt you. If you go to a trained, chiropractor, board certified chiropractor, I cannot guarantee that if you go to someone, Uncle Tommy, or your niece, and let them walk on your back, okay? But No, we cannot hurt you or do anything to you. But I do have a tool in my office to where if that noise startles you, you don't hear anything. You just hear the clicking of the tool and that's it. So most people are like, oh, that's it? What about this? I said, no, no. But I explain, especially in my office, I explain everything. So
you are very thorough.
There is no guessing or no, I'm scared. When you're going to leave out of there, you're going to be like, oh, wow, this is an amazing experience. So
I love it. So don't be scared.
Yes,
this is
don't be
something
scared.
you're considering as part of your wellness care and self-care.
Yes.
Don't be scared. So why did you decide to be in Third Ward? And Third Ward is predominantly African American. We call it Houston's Harlem. In Houston, we call it Houston's Harlem. The Woman's Earth is in Third Ward, so we're like right around the corner. Why did you decide to have your practice? Because you could have been anywhere. In Houston, we're the 4th largest city. Why did you decide to be in Third Ward?
I actually didn't. To be honest, I was going to be in the suburbs, honestly.
Oh, how did you end up in Third Ward?
You know, there was, actually she's a soror.
Okay.
She is a doctor, another chiropractor, and she said, hey, you can come rent space out of my office.
Okay.
I said, okay, where's your office? She said, Third Ward. I was like, oh, Third Ward, okay. All right. Okay, let's see.
Let's try it out.
So I didn't give it any thought. So then I said, okay, I prayed. I was like, Lord, if I'm really supposed to be there, Dr. Lewis, I said, if I'm really supposed to be there, send me a sign. And I said, amen. 2 seconds later, she called. I said, okay, you work fast. Literally, no lie. Literally,
wow.
2 seconds later, she called. I said, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And now I cannot imagine being anywhere else. I absolutely love it. The love here is amazing. The access to so many people being right here in the central area of town. I can get people from everywhere. It's like, oh, they're not going to come down this way. For people working in this area, their kids go to school down here. Yeah. It's the best thing ever.
It's so accessible.
Well,
I'm happy that you stumbled across
yes.
Third Ward,
yes.
Texas. And you decided, you did lease a space out of someone else's practice, but you recently opened your own.
I did.
And you decided to open your own in Third Ward.
I did. We just celebrated 1 year in our new location. We actually are at the old Dr. Edith Irby Jones office right there on Prospect and Live Oak, and we, got it all fixed up. I absolutely love it. It's nothing like having your own space with Dr. Jones. Yes.
It's so amazing. Yes. So, how can we get in touch with you?
Okay, well, we're located right at 2601 Prospect Street at the intersection of Prospect and Live Oak. We also have our website, www.spinalpchiro.com, as well as our social media handles. We are at Spinal Perceptions Chiropractic, Dr. Marquetta Giles, DC, and of course our phone number 346-330-9876.
Thank you. And any events coming up?
Yes, October, as we all know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we are doing something different. We have an event called Beyond the Mammogram, where we are going beyond just your regular routine screenings, talking about cancer. We are going to approach the 4 factors that the American Cancer Association stated that are risk factors, and these are things that we can't control. So this first week is diet and cancer. We're going to talk about smoking and cancer, alcohol, as well as exercising. So if you want to look out on our social media pages, we have a few giveaways we're going to be giving away. But I want people to look beyond. If you're going to get the mammogram, you can't go back to the sedentary lifestyle, the bad eating, the heavy drinking and smoking, and think that, okay, my test is negative, my risk factors are no longer there. Yeah. They are if you just take the test and don't do anything extra. So.
Love it. Yes. I'll be looking out for details on that event. Thank you so much for joining me today. You have been listening to or viewing the Love Right Now show. as we dive into the state of Black women's health under the series Healing the Black Woman, where I am interviewing women that I absolutely admire and personally empower me through their work. And I have been talking to Dr. Marquetta Giles of Spinal Perceptions, and I am excited about what's to come from your practice. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you soon.
This is for the love in you.
I appreciate anything you do.
This is for the love.